Thank you all for joining me at this special edition at the Detroit Motor City Tattoo Expo. I am all alone for another episode of Nothing's Permanent, and I mean I'm not alone. I've got my guest here, Stacie Rae Weir, and this is going to be an amazing story, and I'm super excited to share it. But I just want to share some logistics. Usually, I've got my co-host, Dr. Jeremy Miller. Right now, he is doing, I think, a giant new school pill bottle on someone's thigh. This looks pretty amazing. Maybe we'll catch a B-roll of it here in the interview. And then Forrest has found a bar somewhere. So learn it's a valuable lesson. When we're going to go do some of these special editions, don't take them to a tattoo convention. But it's okay, because I've got an amazing person to interview here. Thank you, Stacie Rae, for coming all the way from Dallas to be here and sit down with me and interview with me.
Yeah, it was jump at the chance. Thanks for having me.
So I want to always honor you by giving you an opportunity to share who you are and where you came from. I always like to go to that old silly Marvel, what's your origin story, because you've been in the industry for a very long time, and I'll let you share how long. And you guaranteed have your following. You have those that know, but there's going to be those out there who don't. So please just kind of give us paint a little background, and let people know a little bit how you got this party started.
How did we get this party started? Well, it started in a basement when I was 14 years old. I got a, is it okay? Okay.
Yeah.
When I was 14 years old, I got a jailhouse tattoo done because I couldn't get tattooed in a shop. Obviously, no shop would tattoo me.
You got a jailhouse tattoo in your basement?
I don't know, somebody's basement. What, like a Walkman motor and guitar string, like one of those old jailhouse machines or whatever. Yeah, and I just decided that day that I wanted to be a tattoo artist and do good tattoos instead of jailhouse basement tattoos. And so I went to art school. I started hanging around the local tattoo shop. I've been drawing flash and hanging around tattoo shops since 1989. Yeah. And so I'm from Canada. There was no woman really tattooing in Canada back in those days, not that I heard of anyway. So it was a new world kind of for girls to get into tattooing, and it was just a different time, right? Like you were around back then. It was just a different time.
Yeah, I mean that was before I started tattooing. It's there was definitely a male-dominated industry, and for females to come into it, it took a whole lot of gumption, right? And it took some stuff to get into it,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty amazing that you were able to get in. Now, before we get farther, you got a Walkman motor, a guitar string tattoo. What did you get tattooed on when you were 14? What was it of?
It was a rosebud. Well, it was supposed to be a rosebud. It looks a little bit more like a tulip. Looks a little bit more like a tulip. It's not a very good tattoo. And the funny thing is about it is I don't even like roses. So
It was a tulip, but supposed to be a rose?
yeah, it's bad. It's bad, dude.
Okay. Where did you get it done?
Like where on my body?
Yeah, where-
It's like on my hip,
No.
kind of. Yeah. So it's changed shape a little bit over the years as well.
Is it still there? Did you get it covered up?
I got one laser session, so it's barely there, but no, it'll always be there. It'll always be there to remind me of the reason that I got into this industry, because to be honest with you, tattooing is my first love. It's my only love, really. I just really love this industry. So whatever it cost me to get into it was worth it. Was worth the price of admission.
Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't know how to get into it back then anyway. I mean, there was no, and there's really no clear-cut direction how to, but even less back then. And as we mentioned, you being a female trying to get into it, even less, even fewer options and ideas on how to get in there. So, but 14 years old, you want to become a tattoo artist. You go to art school. Are you going to art school in like when you get out of high school, or what's the timeline?
Yeah, basically, I started hanging around tattoo shops in I think grade 10. By the time I graduated, I had already been in the shop for a couple years. The guy who was running the shop was mentoring me. His name was Trent. I still look up to him like nothing else, and he just really made sure that I understood where tattooing had come from as much as I could,
Okay.
and my role and where it was going. And so he instilled a value system that I really like it's worth hanging your hat on,
Yeah.
to really have a lot of respect and appreciation for our craft, the evolution of it, the culture of it. I'm just really like, I can't even say how grateful I am that this has been my life.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So you're getting out of high school, you're going into art school, you're hanging around tattoo shops. When did you actually, was this when you're like, are you apprenticing then or?
Yeah, so I started art school in 1994. I dropped out of art school in my third semester because I got offered a tattoo apprenticeship.
Okay.
So I've been tattooing since I started my apprenticeship in 95, and that's been my life ever since. So I was working at, I had a pretty good career. I traveled around a lot, came to um, conventions in the States because I'm Canadian. And yeah, just really just embraced everything that tattooing had to offer me. And then I was working at my dream job when cancer came into my life
Oh.
and completely changed the trajectory of my career. And now I focus mostly on areola restoration is really my area of focus now. Scar cover-ups and areola restoration.
Oh, okay. So we totally bypassed. You're from Canada, and specifically where in Canada. I'm horrible with geography.
I'm from Vancouver Island originally, and then I spent most of my career in Calgary, Alberta.
Yeah. Okay. So started in California, Canada, and then I mean, you said your life changed when cancer came into the picture, and I'm sure very many people can relate. Right? Obviously, cancer is a very prevalent thing in our society, our globe. What did that look like? And if you don't mind, I mean, was it just like you dealt with it and then you quit tattooing for a time and then wanted to help, or what was that transition like?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I was working at Smiling Buddha with Paul Jeffries, and um, he's just my hero, just a hero of mine, if not my ultimate hero. He's just really good. He cares a lot about tattooing, and I remember him saying to me once, he was like, "You want to be successful, you need a niche." So
Mhm.
when my mom got diagnosed with cancer, I started realizing that there was a whole kind of area in there that where tattooing was done that wasn't really being talked about by the tattoo industry.
Yeah.
It was more within the medical field, but people
Mhm.
who are non-tattoo professionals really shouldn't be doing this tattooing. But I didn't really know that that was happening. So I started areola tattooing um, in 2009. I think I took my first training, and man, there was a deficit. They were using a circle template
Yeah.
and
Like pink
just
circles.
doing like a pink circle. Yeah, it was there was a deficit. So
Yeah.
after Paul telling me you need a niche, and I was like, well, I went to art school. I've been tattooing scars since the 90s. I have won awards for my realism drawings. Hey, wait a minute. I've got some skills here to use. So I wrote a book about it, and I started inventing stuff, and I just kind of went all in. Paul was right. You got a niche, and it was a niche that needed a hero.
That's cool. I love that niche that needed a hero. That's the title of the book right there. So it wasn't your cancer that changed your life. Huh.
No, I never had cancer, but I have the gene. I
Mm,
have the gene.
okay.
So the doctors, I had a mass. When they started doing all the diagnostics that they want to put you through, and I was in my 30s and lost my mom, and that's really intense.
Yeah.
Losing a
Yeah.
strong person to cancer will change your life,
Yeah.
and all of us know somebody who's had or been through breast cancer. So when they started doing the diagnostics, testing and stuff with the genetic stuff with me, they found a mass.
Mm.
And they're like, you have this big mass. We think is precancerous. You have this genetic disposition giving you an 83% chance of getting breast cancer.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm not having kids. Take them. Take them. I don't need them. Take them. And so I had a reconstruction. I had a big, beautiful mastectomy tattoo done over my reconstruction, and really was pretty happy with the results. Things have taken a turn since then. I lost my reconstruction. I had an implant reconstruction after my mastectomy, and they recalled the freaking implants, if you can believe that. Recall. So they gave me back. I demanded that they prove to me that my implants weren't leaking, because it's pretty intense when you think about what can be going on in your body. And so I demanded that they give me the implants back, and they did, with my tattoos still attached. So that took me through a whole other thing of freaking trauma that I'm finally just healing from now. And I'm like, I better start teaching about this stuff.
Yeah. No, wow. No, that's definitely it. I mean, it's thank you for the clarification because yeah, when you say cancer changed your life, and I mean, yes, it would suck to definitely have cancer and having an 83% chance of getting it with a gene in a mass, but that actually took your mom. I mean, that's like a double whammy, right? It's not only is it horrible, but then it took somebody that's very pivotal in your life. So it adds this just layer and layer of trauma, and then it's almost like you kind of went through this like I want to be such a niche master that you went through what cancer victims go through, removing the breast, going through the mastectomy surgery, and then I mean then dealing with some massive trauma, right? Like it sucks when they say they got to recall a part to your car, not a part to your body. That's pretty intense. And so as you alluded to, it's all of this story that you've been kind of painting for us right now. It really kind of um, creates this masterpiece of experience that you can glean from and be able to share your your experiences and your knowledge with others. And that seems to be like the niche master that you become. And so that's where, like I said, like there's so many people you're helping. Share with us, like what do you do now that you feel is really empowering women or anyone who's coming to see you, to help them become better through tattooing.
Well, I think now my highest expression of love is to share what I've learned.
Yeah.
And help tattooists understand what your clients have been through. You need to understand the trauma involved, and people need to understand that it's not pretty. This is not a beauty service.
Mm.
It's not a pretty thing to do. These people have been through some shit. And so I really try to pay it forward into my community by sharing and inspiring understanding.
Mm.
And I feel like if I can help other people be really great at areola restoration, then it's like I can help other survivors.
Yeah.
I had nipple tattoos botched. I
Mm.
had nipple tattoos botched,
That sucks.
and by a nipple tattoo trainer.
Wow. Yeah.
In the beauty, but it's not a beauty service. This person's in the beauty industry, but it's not a beauty service. It's
Yeah.
so challenging. And so it's like the women that are losing their breasts and need areola tattoos or mastectomy scar cover-ups, those are my sisters.
Mm.
And I know what they've been through. So my highest expression of love, as I was saying, is making sure that they are in good hands. And the way that I do that is by helping tattooists have the hands that will cradle their vulnerability.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's amazing because I think that's something that modern day, well, not just tattoo artists, but especially those that go into the beauty industries, right? It's not just I'm just trying to make you look pretty for a long time. It's I'm trying to not only help you um, heal your physical wounds, I'm trying to heal your spiritual and emotional wounds because of what these things take from you, and we need that knowledge from especially strong female leaders to share with future um, mastectomy, areola restoration, paramedical tattoo artists to realize that they're not just, like I said, redecorating or putting something back. Well, no, they're putting something back. They're putting back some dignity, putting back some completeness, right? And I think that takes a lot of personal reflection and spirituality. And you've been actually creating content and literature. I actually got amazing. Well, I got to get interviewed in this issue of your ART paramedical tattoo publication. Restorative tattoo.com is the website. Definitely stoked that this is out and about and this could circulate and make its way into people's hands to where they can kind of read about your journey and or read about what you're interested in, the technical healing aspects. What got you started in this though? Any cool elements you want to share about this magazine?
um I guess I just started making stuff. I just started making stuff.
Don't we do that?
So when I lost my breath, I had 3 months on the couch, basically just chilling, healing my body. I ride horses for fun, and I couldn't ride my horses, and I wanted to keep tattooing to a minimum because I had drains in for a long time. It's a major surgery.
Yeah.
A breast amputation is a major surgery. It is an
Yeah.
amputation, and it's serious. So I had a lot of time to think about what problems am I seeing and how can I solve them? Are they solvable?
Mm.
If there's a solution, can I find a solution? Can I offer a solution? And I started creating solutions.
Nice.
And I wasn't a very, like, my goals for tattooing were just to do good, solid tattoos that stood the test of time until this started happening to me. And I was like, I wrote a book and I wanted to teach, PMU tattooists and nurses that were doing this work how to draw because nobody was drawing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I know how to draw. I went to art school. I have awards for my realism, as I said. I can teach these guys how to draw some simple stuff. And so I drew a bunch of nipple areola complexes. I got a few of my friends to come into my studio on a Friday afternoon and take pictures. So I had pictures to draw little portraits from. And then I had to make them digital for the book. And once they were digital, I was like, hey, what a great idea. I should make these temporary tattoos. So I made temporary nipple tattoos that I call nipple backs. Like missing something?
Yeah.
Here's your nipple back.
Yeah. That's cute.
So I had the book and then I made the nipple backs and then I devised a whole new way of approaching this where you could really build an optical illusion safely in scar tissue because I've been tattooing scar tissue since about 1998. So I have a lot of experience with putting pigment in the scars and seeing what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
And then I decided maybe I should teach my methods to people. So I've been teaching it for 10 years.
Wow.
And since then I have co-curated my protege, Stacie Rae, created the Pink Ribbon series, which was the very first permanent areola pigments to exist.
Okay.
Because we were like, okay, one problem we have to solve is the fading pigments. So we solved that problem. And then I realized how few people really know how to tattoo scar tissue. So I created scarred practice skins.
Yeah. Oh.
Filed a patent on them.
Wow.
A few patents, actually. And so then when Sam said, well, what skin tone should we do them in? I said, what do you mean, what skin tone? What skin tone can we do them in? Do them in all the skin tones. And there was no practice skins out at that time in skin tones to represent all ethnicities. So we did all the skin tones, filed a patent on that, and filed a patent on the nipple backs, and just kind of started going like, man, I got something here. And all the people that I had trained, I'm really careful about who I train because I really want to give them a lot of support. So I have to minimize who I share my energy with. But now I've got a team of people around the world that I've trained and that are doing really good work. And we've got the nipplebacks and the books. And so I made a magazine because I'm having these conversations with people that I'm really inspired by. So I wanted to feature them. And I felt like that paramedical tattooing deserved to have its own designation separate from body art, separate from the medical field. It's not a procedure. It's not a medical procedure. Separate from the beauty industry. Permanent makeup is beauty. This is not beauty. And so I just really, anything that I had thought I wanted, I just made it.
Wow.
And I don't know if I'm doing a great job or not. I don't really care. I'm just having fun making stuff. So then Tat Soul asked me to do a set of needles. So I designed 2 boxes of needles with Tat Soul for areola tattooing. So that was awesome. And then Ever After and Eternal asked me if I would do a set of areola pigments. So I did a set with them. So now I've had my hands in 2 pigment sets, the needles, the skins, the nipple backs. I have a couple magazines, a new book, a few training manuals. I've just been kind of going crazy making stuff and trying to have some fun with it.
Well, I would say that if you've been making all these things and you're wondering if it works or not, obviously it is. If you have these companies and obviously it's demand. I mean, you are a true champion of areola restoration, and it's amazing. Sometimes a a Superman cape isn't always what a superhero looks like. You may have nippleback stickers on you, and you may be, you rip open your shirt and there's a big nipple on your chest, and that's your superhero thing. But I mean, it's
Dun
fun.
dun dun
But at
dun.
the same time, you're doing something amazing for people, and it's you really did become a champion in your niche, and really focus on it because that's not my realm, and you just enlightened me completely on it. Because I mean, I know that there's specific types of needles. I know there's now sets for areola restoration pigments. I mean, even doing the areola testing, like the practice skins and different tones. I mean, that's amazing. That's really cool. I'm glad I get to sit here and interview somebody who is the curator and creator of of these products. And again, you're probably inadvertently helping thousands, if not eventually millions of people,
Yeah.
because we know that breast cancer and areola restoration is going to be something that keeps getting done, um, for many generations. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. Oh,
Thank you.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, uh, I mean, if you want to share any more about that, or where are you going now, Stacie? Like, what is the next steps that you're taking, or can you share it? Yeah, there's a top secret, or like where are you heading
Well,
with this?
yeah, there's all kinds of ideas percolating because once you open those floodgates, it just keeps going really, and I love being in a creative mindset. So one of the things that I saw, like I was saying at the beginning, there was a deficit when it comes down to what was happening for areola tattooing for survivors. There was a few deficits. One of them was fading pigment, like I said, and the knowledge. People just didn't really understand how to tattoo scar tissue. Well, I've had a lot of years' experience tattooing scar tissue. So, what I found was the deficits that are most glaringly obvious to me now are the deficits in education.
Mm,
And I think that most of the problems going on in the tattoo world, tattooing has come a long way. There's beautiful things happening, but there is still some problems. And I feel that those problems come down to the fact that we don't have standardized education.
no,
So right now, the thing I'm most passionate about is helping fill those gaps for tattooists so that if you have every little bit of information that you need to be freaking amazing at what you do, then you're going to be freaking amazing at what you do. And that's what I like to focus on now, education.
wow, no, that's amazing. No, you're hitting the nail on the head. The tattoo industry has exploded because of the ease and access of tools and educate and knowledge, information being out in the ether, and being able to harness, hone, and focus and funnel that in a way that makes people become the best version that they can be, specifically to that niche, which is something that's so like it's not about making pretty, it's about making right, it's about making whole again, and for you to be able to then kind of take on that try and wrangle or steer that horse right in that direction. Which you like to ride horses, which is again it's a bucking bronco, right? Education in the tattoo industry is a crazy thing to try and get your hands on, and not only get your hands on it, but then wrangle it, get in the right direction, and not get bit by the other horses. You know what I mean? So
Seriously.
that's amazing. So I am sure that we're going to put this out, and there's going to be some folks who are amazed by what you've done and want to be a part of either your education or any of your products, or even want to come see you. How can people get a hold of you? How can they get in touch with you? How can they connect with you?
There's not really an easy answer to that. You'll
No.
get an overview of everything on my personal website, stacierae.com, STACIE hyphen RAE.com. I have to spell that because it's a little confusing.
Mm.
But I have the skins, there's MedArt Pro skins and nipplebacks.com. I've got like it's a little bit confusing when you get there, because
You're creative.
I was trying to, yeah, I gotta find a way to rein it back in.
But if we go to the Stacie STACIE hyphen
Yeah,
WRAE.com.
yeah,
That's a great place to start. Yeah, I'm sure there's a contact us or a way
yeah.
to connect with you if they need to. So that's a great place to get to. So, well, very cool. Well, like I said, Stacie, it's really cool that that we were able to connect like this. We were able to get to hear what you've done, because I know you've done amazing things, and it's been inadvertently, and our conversations have been mixed amongst a plethora of other circumstances. But to hear your story from beginning to end, and what you've been able to do, I'm much more respect. Um, I already had tons of respect for you, but now I'm like super impressed, and I'm very grateful that there's people like you out there doing what you do. So thank you.
Aw, thanks, Ben.
Yeah. So,
I
well,
need to hug you now.
okay. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode. Like I said, we've said it twice. If you do want to connect with Stacie, go to stacierae.com. We can spell it on the screen right now, I'm sure. Um, this is what it's all about, is being able to get connected with people in the industry who are doing amazing things that you maybe did not know about. And I guarantee you in the future, Stacie's going to be teaching her amazing education on platforms that we will share with you. So stay connected with us, stay around so we can continue to connect you with people on Nothing's Permanent, because we do permanent artwork on temporary beings. And thank you so much for showing it. Join us tonight.